Okay.
Did you see Pep Guardiola's press conference before the City game, before the Fulham game? I think maybe after the Fulham game.
I don't know.
No. Okay. So Pep Guardiola's press conferences are always very weird, and people.
He's a weird bloke.
He's a obsessional freak, really. Which has seen him in good stead.
Yeah, he's done a good job.
Many people would argue that his personality has held him back. I think so. He said something to a journalist, and a lot of people are just taking it at face value, and I think it's obviously a joke.
Right. So I think it's ringing a bell, but I can't remember what he said.
Let me get the quote. So I'll find what the journalist said first. So Guardiola wrote a column in 2006 when he was still a player.
Right.
Or maybe when he just retired.
I think he was still playing in 2006.
Yeah. About a Spain team playing against Tunisia. And he talked about how Spain's had a front three that played very narrow with Fernando Torres and David Villa, and they would drop back, and how it was really difficult to make... there was a tendency to have it be very crowded in the middle of the pitch.
Right.
Everyone would come to central to get the ball. And this BBC Tactics writer asked him this ridiculously long-winded question that was basically just like, maybe there was something added to it by all the context of Pep Guardiola had spoken to him about in the past, but basically you play wide wingers, how do you stop you play quite narrow forwards wide, how do you stop the midfield getting congested? And Guardiola said, wow, you're amazing, do you want to be my assistant? And I think he was kidding. I think he was annoyed about the question.
Yeah.
And the question being like weirdly prescriptive and very verbose. But everyone's been like, this sort of analysis is amazing. And Guardiola's clearly seen how like this analyst has spotted something in the game, and it's a really in-depth question. But all of the depth of the question was pointless. Didn't really add.
Yeah.
And I think Guardiola's response was, well, what are you talking about?
Well, you're clever.
Yeah, stop being weird. Like,
yeah. And if Guardiola's telling you to stop being weird, you know you're in trouble.
Yeah. I just thought it was odd. Everyone seems to have read it differently to me. Maybe I'm wrong. If,
Yeah, maybe these people know Pep better than you.
Such.
But yeah, I've not really seen much about it, to be fair. I've seen like little bits without actually reading what it's about. But you always get people, if you're on like a guided tour or some kind of Q&A, people who ask questions that are clearly designed to show what they know about the thing.
Yeah, it was more about proving a point than actually getting information.
Yeah.
Because he said in the column in 2006 what he thinks you should do. And obviously,
well, it might have
a long time ago.
20 years. Henry's dad has the same voice as Rolly Mo in the Rolly Mo show.
He's doing well for himself.
They're owned by the same company, I think.
Fair enough.
And Henry's mum is Little Bo, in Rolly Mo's niece.
Oh, nice.
She's only in the Rolly Mo show. She's not in the Fimbles, no.
I mean, I'm sure he's retired now after the back of those two stellar roles. Doesn't have to work anymore when he's got those royalties coming in every week. Who was the third mole in Rolly Mo?
No, so there's 3 Fimbles in the Fimbles.
I thought there was 3.
And there's a spin-off in the Rolly Mo show where they had to bring in a sidekick, but I don't think there's 3.
I thought there was a 3rd one. Maybe not. I think I am mixing up the Fimbles and Rolly Mo.
Because is this making it into a podcast?
It might do. It might be more interesting than our original intro.
Yeah. Can you name any of the Fimbles?
Oh, Pansy? No.
What's thinking of the Zingzillas there?
Yeah, give me one and I might be able to guess the others.
One of them is very similar to what they are.
Right. And they're Fimbles. Is it called Fim? Or Fimble?
Fimbo.
The Fimble makes sense. Nice.
Yeah, and then Baby Pom and Florrie.
Oh, nice. They do ring bells.
I've not seen that one. The episode of the ring bells. I can imagine it.
Well, I was baffled to find out that the guy who voices the Ood in Doctor Who also voices Newt Gunray.
Yeah.
And that's what?
I thought it was a Japanese man who was Newt Gunray.
That's really very obviously a Japanese man.
Yeah.
And also voiced Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Yeah, I played Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Yes, I think so. But and you said, oh yeah, it does sound like the Ood.
Yeah.
But I couldn't remember a line from Ki-Adi-Mundi.
He says, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
Yes, in the council meeting.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Fair enough. It's a small world.
There's only so many actors out there.
Yeah. I mean, Nicholas Briggs has done Doctor, he's he's set for life with work because they keep bringing him back in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Although the last 2 series haven't had Cybermen or Daleks in, but
Yeah.
it has had the Vlinks, and he voices the Vlinks.
Does he?
Which some people have theorised is only there because Nicholas Briggs has a job.
Totally no.
Because
It's only been in it for 2 episodes.
yeah, but he's on retainer, so he's
Yeah.
using for something.
Yeah. Hello and welcome back to Red Army Reaction, where feels like quite a long time since United last played.
Yeah,
It was the day after we recorded last week.
yeah, we might have moved the schedule around a little, but we didn't. We'll have to next week because we burn on Monday.
Yeah, which I've not missed in
No,
a month since we last played on a Monday.
but at the moment I'm just desperate to watch us play.
Yeah.
It's annoying that the big gap has come after a not win rather than after a good win that we've had
Yeah.
the last few weeks, because it feels like momentum's gone a little bit.
Yeah.
If we'd had 4 wins and then the big gap, we would have been buoyed throughout that period, whereas now we're a little bit like, but I'm keen to see us play again because I know we are good and I know we can win.
We've had time to work on the things that went wrong against West Ham.
Yeah.
And it was West Ham and Fulham weren't as good as the previous 2.
Yeah.
So now it's probably a good thing that they've got this time to work on it.
Yeah, like we said after, we spoke after the City and Arsenal games. No one was thinking everything's perfect and everything's fixed. We played a very specific way in those games, and probably an easier way to play than the way we had to play against Fulham and West Ham, which was a lot more proactively.
Yeah, and the Spurs game is hard to say
say
because of the red card.
Yeah, but the West Ham game came a little bit unstuck, I think.
Yeah, I thought we played really poorly, really.
Yeah.
It's comfortably our worst game under Carrick.
Yeah.
And it looked for a long time like we weren't going to get anything out of the game.
Yeah, and I think the most annoying thing is, well, not the most annoying thing, but with those sorts of games, so often we fall into every trap the opposition sets. Because, Nuno Espirito Santo, very experienced Premier League manager, knows how to drag those games out. And West Ham, a very experienced bottom half Premier League side, know all of the tricks to wind United up. And
they're in good form.
Every single one of them, every time.
Yeah, there's been a few games like that, like West Ham at Old Trafford as well, where we just allowing them to do what they want to do and waste time and take all the sting out of the game.
Every time a player's backed into a corner, we'll make the foul and we'll let them get the free kick and reset the whole game. We'll never make them try and play it out or play it long, win the ball back, recycle it. We'll always make the foul. There's way too many of them.
Yeah.
We allow them. So usually the benefit of having so much territory and having so much of the ball and having so many shots, even if you're not scoring, is you can get rebounds, you can get deflections, you can get corners.
Yeah.
And the type of shot we were having, the type of attack we were having meant we weren't having that many shots, and they were so easy to not turn into other chances. It was so frustrating.
Yeah, I just remember thinking for about half an hour in the second half, like, how have we not even had a corner in this time? We've been all over him, but not actually creating very good chances, and every single time it seems to be a goal kick or the keeper ends up with the ball.
Yeah.
And it was very frustrating. I would like I say, we've had a few of them this season. It felt more like one of those Amorim games where you felt like we should be winning, but we just weren't taking the initiative in the game.
Yeah. We didn't lose.
No, we didn't. And I think ultimately it was probably a good or a decent result because West Ham are riding high. They're really fighting for survival.
Yeah.
They were in good form going into the game, and we came very close to losing. So not losing at that point feels like a good result.
And we said of a lot of the draws we've had this season, if you're in the middle of a winning run and you have that draw, you just write it off and move on.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can frame this result as being a poor day at the office in the middle of a good run.
Yeah.
But we won't know that until
it remains to be seen. Do we want to talk through the game a little bit?
Yeah. Really, really awful first half.
Yeah.
One of
just no quality at all. Nothing interesting.
I think bailed out in record stakes by the Crystal Palace Brighton first half, which was apparently the worst first half of all time. I
Yeah.
don't think this one quite goes down that badly, because there was some chances, I think.
Yeah, I'm struggling to remember him because the game feels like about 3 years ago.
Yeah, but an appalling first half from both sides. But that's what they wanted. They were happy with that, and we can't be happy with that.
Yeah, they want there to be nothing in the game, because if it's a game where quality tells, we're gonna win.
Yeah,
So they have to make it a crap game. That's sort of what they're trying to do at the minute.
and if they do that every week, they'll win enough points to stay up. That's Nuno's plan.
Yeah, he
So
never
this-
never wins. I mean, at Forest, they were exciting to watch when they would break on the counter, but generally, he's never played the most attractive football in the world. He's played
No.
effective football.
Yeah, and that squad was really built for that, and this squad really isn't.
Yeah.
They don't have. They've got Bowen, who is a good player, but he's not as he's a much better player than Antonio Elanga, I think. But in terms of that system, you would rather have Elanga than Bowen, because he is just suited to playing it a lot better.
Yeah, and it's probably no coincidence that Somerville has started scoring as West Ham have started getting results.
Yeah.
Somerville has been really good recently in this period where West Ham were in good form, because he does suit that way of playing.
Yeah. So Nuno will have been very happy. West Ham will have been very happy with that first half. There's very little to write home about from United. I thought the team selection was a mistake, really. I think he should have, and it was demonstrated when he came on, I think he should have trusted Šeško from the start. He certainly should have brought him on earlier.
Yeah, it seems like a case of, if it's not broke, don't fix it, because we'd won the first 4 by keeping the team very, very similar.
Yeah.
And it must be, you don't want your manager to think as on basic terms like that, but it must be difficult to say, no, I am going to change the team.
Yeah, and there's no clear weaknesses in that lineup that we played for those 4 games in a row.
No.
And Mbeumo isn't the sort of nuisance centre forward that Šeško can be, but he's a very well-rounded centre forward.
Yeah.
He's not like, we play Mbeumo against City and Arsenal because he's this one specific type of striker. He's just a good striker with lots of different things. So it was fine for him to start. I think when West Ham we're going to have a lot of the ball, having someone who's just going to stand in the middle and you can just try and play the ball into him is quite useful, and a good sort of pivot point to build around in terms of build up. There's not a lot of times. There's a few times when Mbeumo would come out and get the ball and try and help and try and pick apart the defence, which is what his natural tendency is to do, and you don't want to quash that.
Yeah.
But then you look up and there's no one in the box, and that's a real issue.
And our crossing was poor, regardless of who was in the box. When there were people in the box, the crosses didn't go to him.
Yeah.
And if there weren't people in the box, they just put the cross in anyway.
Yeah. Šeško did come on. We'll talk about the West Ham goal.
Yeah. It's just sort of lazy defending, I would say.
Yeah, from
It's
everyone.
not being switched on. Mainu and Shaw, and who gave the ball away? That was Shaw, yeah.
Yeah, but Martinez wasn't aggressive enough.
Yeah. And Mainu lost his man. Like, you know what Thomas Suchek's trying to do there. You've got to get goal side of him.
Yeah, and the one thing you can't do when you've got a team who's so willing to give up the ball and play without the ball, the one thing you can't do is concede a cheap goal.
Yeah.
Like, if City go there, maybe not this City, but the City that were the best team in the world for 3 years, if you want to beat them, you'll need to defend phenomenally for the whole 90 minutes. But also, if you want to win, you'll have to score a good goal.
Yeah.
You'll have to come up with something ingenious or get a big slice of luck.
Yeah.
They won't let you score an easy goal.
Yeah.
And it's improved since Carrick and, from the sound of it, Holland have come in. It's improved, but we still concede easy goals.
We've got a couple of clean sheets.
Yeah.
But in most of those games, we've conceded goals that are avoidable.
Yeah, I think if you look at certainly the own goal at Arsenal.
Yeah, similar sort of setup to the West Ham one.
Yeah, sort of no one's really actively defending it. It's sort of, we'll see what happens. And then you sort of get stuck on the wrong side of someone, or the ball goes to a place you weren't expecting and you can't react quick enough. I think the Fulham game, not really, but this maybe the penalty was a bit of that, where you blink and he's got in the box, Ramirez, and Jimenez has got into the box and it's too late to then try and defend. You need to get more proactive and get ahead of him. And this was the same where Shaw lets the ball bounce and then can't get the first contact. Everyone's waiting to see what Bowen does on the wing, and then, but apart from Souček, who's actively moving into the right place, really frustrating goal to concede.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, there's maybe a bit of lack of communication between Lamans and Mainu, because it's a great ball from Bowen because it's hidden that corridor of uncertainty, so to speak, where the keeper doesn't know whether to come or not. But I don't think you can blame the goalkeeper really. I think he should.
No, it's a good contact
on his line there.
Yeah, he reacts. He can't react in time because of just the distance from the goal.
Yeah, and then it was a slog after that.
Yeah, it was. West Ham, rightly so, made it really hard work, and made us. We thought we'd got the equaliser.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We've had a couple of them. We've seemed to, under Carrick, we seem to score about 3 offside goals a game.
Yeah,
I don't know what that says really. What you can take from that. I mean, these can go either way. This is with these VAR offsides. There's no decision any player has made. It's not that Casemiro should have held his run slightly longer, so his shoulder or whatever it was behind the man.
It's another case of the rules not working with VAR, because the whole, obviously, if any part of the attacker is in front of any part of the defender, it's offside, right? But with a bloke stood at the side of the pitch, there's a built-in sort of border where you can't give it because they're too close, and that border is the same border as, well, it didn't matter. Casemiro didn't get an advantage from his knee being 3 centimeters in front. So it's fine to give that goal. It's not Casemiro cheating or getting an unfair advantage in the wrong place.
Yeah,
that was a built-in sort of safety mechanism and a bit of a pressure valve to say the ones where it's too close to call, it shouldn't be given because we only want it to punish people for getting an advantage from being in the wrong place, as opposed to punishing people for happening to be in the wrong place and it being completely immaterial, such as being 3 centimeters further beyond the defender.
Yeah, because they've had to basically throw away the clear and obvious idea with offside.
Yeah,
because they very much do not only give clear and obvious errors with offside.
Yeah,
there are loads of offsides that isn't clear to anyone whether it's offside or not. It's really close, and the linesman has to make a call, and then VAR will change it if it's 1 inch the other way.
Yeah, and it's just it's probably the best way to have VAR.
Yeah, probably. There's not. You have to. You can't just be subjective with these things, really. When offside is a fact, you have to do it to that level because, as Gary Neville says, it will always be 1 inch. If it's daylight, there will be ones right on the edge.
Yeah, I think the other way to do it would be to have someone look at the footage, maybe
with a timer,
maybe not in real time, maybe in slow motion or a freeze frame.
Yeah,
and say you don't get to zoom in all the way. You don't get to draw telematic lines and have a automated system position the players in 3D. You just have to be able to tell if it's offside. You can't tell if it's offside, it's not offside.
Yeah,
but then the whole point of VAR is to democratize these decisions and make them repeatable and make them independent of who's doing it.
And you don't want to bring in more subjectivity.
Yeah, it's the whole issue with VAR being that it's fundamentally incompatible with a lot of the things to make football interesting.
Yeah, but we're not bitter about having that goal chalked off. That's the nature of the beast.
It's one of them. Casemiro is very, very good at that.
Yeah, and it was a brilliant ball from Mainu. It was the kind of thing we were crying out for when we were pushing, trying to get this goal, but just not really getting anywhere. Just all of a sudden, a great ball into the box, and we'd leveled the game.
Yeah, I thought quite a poor game for Ahmad.
Yeah,
it's not really one of the things that was levelled at Ruben Amorim was forcing Ahmad to play wing back.
Yeah,
but his natural tendency is to sort of drift, and making him play wing back was making him play basically as a winger and saying, stay wide.
Yeah.
You can get the ball in wide positions and come into the middle. That's what we want you to do. When he receives the ball in the centre or close to the box, he doesn't have the momentum to really beat players.
Yeah.
He sort of gets it stuck under his feet a little bit and often has to pass it back to the wing back, to the full back.
Yeah.
He's not really had a great season. I don't think.
He's been
Very hit and miss.
It's not all been his fault, probably.
No.
Like he was asked to do a lot of defending when he was under Amorim, which he's not good at.
Yeah.
You would like to see him building up a good relationship with Dalot if they're both playing every game, but that doesn't seem to be the case so much. There are a few times where Dalot made a good overlap or a good run through the middle, and Ahmad didn't play it to him.
Yeah.
So it's a shame. It wasn't Ahmad's best game. He's not had the brilliant season, but he's had games better than that.
Yes, I think it was a poor game from him.
But I think all of the front four, really. Bruno was pretty anonymous. Cunha was completely anonymous.
Yeah, Cunha came off, did he?
Yeah, and Burmo struggled, and Ahmad struggled as well.
Yeah.
We didn't have no one in that front four played well, really.
No, and there's obviously, they all play. Well, I don't know if they all do. Bruno Fernandes, we know, plays better when he can run into space and when he can play through balls. But he's not dreadful at crossing into the box.
No,
he's playing from the sort of half spaces,
too tight areas and stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe the not the attitude, the sort of instructions were a little too respectful of West Ham, maybe.
Yeah, too risk averse, perhaps.
Yeah, certainly in the first half, it should have been a little bit more trust. But I think this is the issue that we have with this squad: is we don't commit enough people forward to attack when we've got a lot of the ball because we just don't have recovery pace.
Yeah, we have Casemiro at his heart.
Yeah,
you can't have him sprinting back towards his own goal.
Casemiro, Maguire, and Martinez.
Yeah, none of them are
got an athlete amongst them.
No.
So when we're in these positions, Casemiro and two of Fernandes and Mainu can progress ahead of the ball.
Yeah.
But modern football is those two should be in and around the box, and Casemiro should be basically on the edge of the D. If you look at where Declan Rice or Zubimendi sets up for Arsenal, a lot of the time they're like within 5 yards of the box, and they're the deep midfielder, whereas Casemiro sits 10 yards further behind that, just so that he's not completely out of the game when the other team pick up the ball, which is rightly so. We don't lose a lot of games.
That's the thing we have to do with the squad.
It just means that when a team has 10 men in the box, we can struggle to get the numbers there because we can't commit that many men forward.
Yeah, and the subs did really help. Not just Šeško coming on, but Yoro coming on gave us that pace at the back.
Yeah,
and we really needed it. Yeah. We relied on him for two chances that West Ham had.
Yeah, it's no coincidence that obviously we didn't. Then we were committing more bodies forward, which means you do get those chances.
Yeah,
having Yoro on men, we were able to recover.
Yeah,
maybe Yoro from the start would have been allowed them to do that more readily in the first half and early in the second half. But yeah, it was an odd game, a frustrating game, and exactly the sort of thing that people said might happen and might be a limiting factor of Carrick. But I think it's also a limiting factor of the squad.
Yeah, and we'll like you say, you can never judge just one game when we've got such a small sample size with Carrick. It depends how we go from here.
Yeah.
But that probably did raise a few concerns in the people who've been carried away and swept away by Carrick.
Yeah.
That there are limitations. But like you say, it might be down to the squad, and maybe he'll learn from that, and next time we play a team like that, we won't make those same mistakes.
Yeah.
We did get the equaliser.
We did, yeah.
And I was convinced that we wouldn't. We've had a few games where we don't seem to get those goals very often in those games.
No.
And it came from nothing really. It was we had one chance where Bruno put the cross in and Xerxes headed it, and that was a brilliant cross, and Xerxes was unlucky probably.
Yeah,
just glanced it well.
Unlucky a lot in terms of his shots not going in the goal.
Yeah, and then Mbomo's cross was much less to it than
much harder to score from.
Yeah, but it was a brilliant finish from Šeško, and I thought Šeško, to be honest, he gave us an outlet, but he wasn't brilliant with the ball.
No,
he didn't have a lot of chances, but the ball just seemed to bounce off him a little bit, and he seemed a bit, I don't know, shaky.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone else on the pitch would have scored that goal for us. So
no, it was a really smart finish, a really difficult finish, and whatever you can say about Šeško and the season that he's had so far, he's clearly very talented.
Yeah,
he has a lot of strings to his bow.
Yeah,
his application isn't always there because decision making and his some of his choices with and without the ball mean that he's not always in the best place to score the goal. But when you've got that many players in the box and you're throwing the kitchen sink at it, he was in the right place. And if he wasn't, then, if you put any different sort of cross, then we had bodies to do as well. So he was in the right place, got the right contact on it. A really clever finish. I think if he tries to take a touch or tries to do anything else, he can't really score.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, you can get a half chance. So to go first time, I think caught the keeper out as well. Really, really clever.
Yeah. And he's now got, I think, 5 goals after Amorim.
Yeah.
And 2 goals under Amorim. And I don't, we do sort of know from reports that have come out that Amorim would have preferred Ollie Watkins or someone with more experience than Šeško, and he often didn't play him. But if he'd been scoring goals at this rate all season, he'd have a really good return.
Yeah.
And no one would have much to say about him. You can say there's things in his game he needs to work on, but that's what you expect when you sign someone of his age.
Yeah.
But when he wasn't offering very much for quite a while.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that can be levelled at Carrick, is that being the interim is a different job to doing the job. And so if you're Ruben Amorim and you've got to try and, your job is on the line every week and every result is crucial, and you're choosing between Mbeumo, Cunha and Šeško, who's raw and unproven, and you think, we're up against it. We were always in poor form.
Yeah.
So every game is massive, and you think, what if a chance falls to one of these players? Who do I want? My job's on the line. Who do I want to take it? I'm going to put in the player who's immediately most likely to take it, and that's Mbeumo in every situation.
Yeah, he couldn't really think long term too often, Amorim.
Yeah.
As much as he would like to, when you're not in good form, you've not got those results to fall back on from last season.
Yeah. Whereas being the interim, Carrick is sort of thinking, what's the right thing to do, rather than what's the most likely to get me a result this week.
Yeah.
What's the correct?
There's no desperation in his actions.
Yeah. And also, he's won the last 4 games. That really comes into it as well.
Yeah.
Because Carrick is going into that game thinking, and I said he should have played Šeško earlier, but he can instill a bit more trust in Šeško. Like, he brought him on against Fulham and he won us the game. He has played well in other games and again brought him on here tonight. And Carrick can sort of separate himself from the immediacy of the result a little bit more, because that pressure isn't there, because he's the interim.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's Carrick's sort of auditioning for the job.
Yeah,
which is a different sort of pressure.
Yeah.
But the sort of pressure, in auditioning for the job, playing young players and, throwing strikers on at the end is a good way to audition for the job.
Yeah.
The United fans want to see. So
yeah, and if he does want the job, he'll have to sort of convince the people, the decision makers, and they'll have to find out for themselves what decisions he's made as the caretaker manager.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have made them that way if he knew he had the permanent job.
Definitely, yeah.
Because they have to sort of extrapolate from that. Because, like you say, it is a different job. And a manager coming in knowing he's only there till the end of the season, you can't always say, well, he's done really well, let's give him the job. Because then the challenges become different and you might not be able to do as well.
That's the $64,000 question. Can you do one and then the other?
Yeah.
I think that was what I think Solskjaer did really well. Solskjaer was happy being the interim. When he got the job, he did pivot and he did build the squad use the squad in a different way, and was able to bring players in different ways because that decision had been made. And that's something that Carrick won't get. Carrick will have to manage this entire period as the interim.
Yeah.
And then they'll have to think, someone will have to assess whether or not he can do it, and that's why you need a proper recruitment process, and you need to interview him.
And they need to be good at knowing these things.
Yeah. And for all the successes we might say in the market, the managerial decisions have been wrong almost universally. They were wrong to keep Ten Hag. I think in hindsight they were wrong to appoint Amorim in any way. They were wrong to appoint him in the middle of the season. I think getting rid of Amorim was the correct decision.
Yeah, but they
could have
say they should have done it quicker.
Looking at how well Carrick's done,
Yeah. I think, touch wood, so far, appointing Carrick as interim looks like a good decision.
And we'll see what they do in the summer.
And that's still the least important managerial decision they've made.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens. I think, back on the West Ham game, I think it was I think it will look like a better result in a few weeks. I think West Ham will continue to pick up points and will maybe not pull themselves away from the relegation fight. But I think they'll get another few results this season. That they're not the West Ham. They're not Potter's West Ham. They're not.
No, they've got a bit more steel about them probably. And they are currently looking. These things change very quickly. They're currently looking like they will stay up. And this is the worst time to play them, really. We played them at a much better time to play them at home, and we didn't beat them. We got the same result, 1-0.
Yeah, we should have. Like, if you'd won that and drawn this, you would have thought, well, not the end of the world. And you draw both of them and only get 2 points against best team in the league is quite annoying.
Yeah. If we look ahead from here, we've obviously, for reasons we won't go into, we didn't play this weekend. I'm really frustrated by that, though. We will go into them, actually, because I think if we'd have just got through that Brighton game somehow, we wouldn't have had to be that good. Brighton weren't that good. Brighton aren't a good side at the minute. Yeah. If we'd have just got through that game, scraped it through on penalties or won 1-0 or something, I think we could have had a good cup run under Carrick.
Yeah.
Even though Brighton then got Liverpool away in the next round and lost 3-0. Carrick, the way we're playing, it would be nice to have that cup run, that potential to win something at the end of the season.
Or at least a stab at it. At least
go out on your few games.
Supposed to going out on Darren Fletcher's terms.
Yeah. It's just a shame that game came when it did. But, yeah, so we didn't play this weekend, so it's Everton away next.
Yeah.
And we've got 4 wins and a draw from Carrick's 5 games. Looking at the table, we're in a really good position for Champions League. Are you confident that we're going to get it after that West Ham draw? Does that knock your confidence a little bit? Because I think a lot of United fans couldn't believe the position we were in after those 4 games. And it started to feel like, well, we've got to get Champions League from here. We're in this position now. We should be getting it from here. There's a few more questions asked, I think, now.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a few factors. I think my confidence is down a little bit because obviously, if
we've now not
won every game, so it's down a little bit. But I think the Fulham game is a better indicator of the majority of games in the Premier League than the West Ham game is. I think a few years ago, maybe even as far back as sort of 20 years ago, there was a good 8 or 9, maybe 10 teams in the Premier League where United would show up and they would basically play like that, and they would have 10 men behind the ball. Yeah, they would try and nick you on the counter because it was United and they were minnows, relatively speaking. Because now I think certainly the top 13, 14 teams, they're going to try and play.
They have proper tactical coaches.
They're going to come out. It's like Brighton, who are not having a good season. They are down in the league.
Yeah, in danger of being dragged into relegation.
31 points this season. But they're not going to put 10 men behind the ball and try and counter and try and, stink the place out.
No, it goes against what they do.
It's a type of football that's massively in the
ascendancy.
Descendancy is the way West Ham play this game. So I'm less worried about. I'm less worried about what happens if we face this every week.
There are more teams that play like Fulham than play like West Ham.
Yeah, but we only scraped to win against Fulham. I think we'll probably be all right in most games because we've got really good players, and that is an issue that we've fallen against, which is you can't really win the league just by having better players than everyone because we haven't got better players than everyone. We've got better players than a lot of teams, but not everyone.
Yeah,
you can't reliably have the best team in every position, and you can't have. You're much too vulnerable to things like injuries and fatigue when you're only good because you've got good players.
Yeah.
However, for the rest of the season, I think with so few games, I think we will be okay in most games because of the quality of players we have.
Yeah, I think it's important that we win the next 2 games, I would say. Everton away and Palace at home.
Absolutely, yeah.
We've got some tough games coming up. We've got some tough away games, particularly.
Yeah.
Newcastle away will be tough. Sunderland away will be tough. Chelsea away.
Yeah.
We've got to play the 3 teams around us, which is Chelsea, Liverpool, and Aston Villa.
Yeah.
So some results there would be good. I think beating Villa at home would be a big result.
Yeah.
And it is now, on current form, it looks like Villa would be the one to drop out of the Champions League, which
Yeah.
Emery has got previous for.
Yeah. They got a really good result in the week against Brighton.
Yeah,
who
yeah.
really needed to win that game.
Yeah, but now they've gone out of the FA Cup, which might help them, I suppose, in the league. They've got a lot of injuries at the minute, and they're not maintaining the form that they did for a lot of the season. But it's hard to predict, really. It'll be quite the run-in, I think, and those games against those teams around us will be very important. When we've got so few games, that's like, I don't know,
a third of a quarter
of the games we've got left. So
yeah,
I can't really call it, to be honest. I'm excited, and I think we should be able to do it with the players we've got. But you would probably, the fans of all 4 of those teams would probably, if we do think that it'll be 3 of United, Villa, Chelsea, and Liverpool.
Yeah.
Plus City and Arsenal.
Yeah, I think there are some things going in United's favour. I think obviously the schedule will.
Yeah.
Chelsea have still got European football.
Yeah, they all have.
I think that will help.
And it's probably no coincidence that the game where we looked the most sluggish and off the pace is the first one where we had to play another game in midweek.
We've got to use that to our advantage. And I think it's quite refreshing, really, to be in this conversation, not thinking, I hope Chelsea and Liverpool, or I hope 2 or 3 of these teams drop enough points that we can catch them.
Yeah, and we have to capitalise when they do.
I hope we don't drop enough points that they can catch us, which is quite a nice place to be.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's nice to be in a chasing position, but we've been in that position a bit too often and not caught them up. So,
and then obviously, I think the fact that it's 5 places, is some people would argue that is too many. I think,
especially last season. This season we've got 6 teams in the Champions League because of Spurs.
And I think they're probably right, and I think it does lead to the sort of dilution of the nobility of the Champions League. That you finish 17th, the Spurs finish in the Premier League and be in the Champions League.
Yeah,
but then also part of me thinks that winning the Europa League should get you in the Champions League. I think
you are a champion of something.
Yeah. But not, as we discussed, you're not champions of Europe. But we're very lucky that it's 5 teams. I think it will. The drop off between Champions League and Europa League is massive in terms of revenue.
Yeah,
I think Crystal Palace, they're in the Conference League this season, have got like 15 million quid in extra from being in the Conference League to not being in the Conference League. Like that doesn't move the needle at United. 50 million quid.
We wouldn't say no.
No. But if it's 10 million for finishing a position higher in the Premier League, compared to 15 million for playing 8 extra games, and they're still in it, and they've got and admittedly their matchday revenue is much lower than ours, and our matchday revenue would be higher.
Yeah,
but
the new format of the Champions League is a real money spinner.
Yeah,
a win in that competition is like, I don't know, 3 million or something.
Yeah.
And you get points you get prize money for every position you finish in the table.
Yeah. So there's a lot of revenue on the table especially for United.
And for us to not be in the Champions League 2 seasons in a row is bad enough.
Yeah.
We've got to be in there next.
Yeah. So it's massive, and I think we'll be all right. I think we'll get it.
You're leaning towards that we will be in it.
I think to be overtaken by Chelsea and Liverpool. Neither
and not overtake Villa.
Yeah, and Villa to stay in where they are requires a lot. And I think all of them would rather be. I think Villa would rather have our form, and Liverpool and Chelsea would rather have our league position. So we've got a good combination of the two. We were in a decent position, and then we got a lot better.
Yeah.
Whereas Liverpool and Chelsea, Liverpool have been up and down all season, and they've never really looked amazing.
Yeah.
Chelsea, I don't really know what Chelsea
are. Chelsea have been about as good all season, really.
Yeah.
They seem to have got better under Rafinha, but they got slightly worse under Maresca.
Yeah.
But now they've sort of levelled out, I think.
Yeah, and they've got good players back from injury as well. That helps. Yeah.
We did the same.
Yeah. So I'm still backing us to do it. I think we're in the best position to do it certainly out of Liverpool and Chelsea.
Yeah. and we've got. I think it's going to go right down to the wire, but I think if we can beat Liverpool and Villa at home,
Yeah,
that would
really help.
really boost our chances.
And obviously, you always want to beat Liverpool.
Yes, absolutely.
I also don't really like Aston Villa, so beating them. I just think they've got annoying players.
Yeah, and also they've gambled a lot in the last couple of years on getting into the Champions League, and they didn't do it last season. We stopped them through slightly dodgy circumstances on the last day of the season. So if we stopped them again, I would enjoy that.
Yeah, it would be funny. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that we won't dwell on the West Ham result and it will fall away as United have if you look even at the form now, we're not lost in 9 games, I think.
In the league.
In the league.
Yeah.
And
what was the last game we lost in the league?
Everton.
Oh wow, that was on your birthday.
Yes, it was.
So that was end of November.
So I think we're on a decent run, and I think the West Ham result will blend away into the background of a decent run.
Yeah, Everton away won't be easy.
No,
David Moyes against his old club, but that happens every single year. It's not interesting anymore.
No, I do think my previous point about a lot of teams not being the sort of West Ham who will sit behind the ball.
Yeah,
Everton probably
are a bit like that. Yeah,
and will be for United.
Yeah, and we lost to him at home, which was a game we absolutely should have won.
Yes, was an awful game.
Going away there on a Monday night as well, I feel is not ideal.
Yeah,
I think it's really important that we get that win.
Yes, I think so too.
They're in mixed form really, Everton. They're very much a mid-table side.
Yeah,
where they could win a couple of games and they look like pushing for Europe. They lose a few and then they're down in 12th or 13th.
Yeah, I think they're better away from home as well. I think they struggle at home a little bit.
There's a bit more pressure on them to be expansive and.
Yeah, so I think we'll be okay. Are we doing the Everton preview? Should we do the Everton preview now?
Yeah, I think that's what we're doing.
But yeah, I think maybe start Šeško, reward him for his good form.
Yeah,
you want to create an environment where players coming off the bench and doing well leads to starts.
Yeah, you want your players thinking, if I do well enough here, I'll get to start the next one.
Yeah, and I think that would be a nice sign to other members of the squad that positions aren't set in stone.
Yeah,
everyone
the players who've been starting every game, to let them know that you're not guaranteed to start.
Because they started against West Ham when they were poor, those forwards. I think it'd probably be Ahmad that comes out.
Yeah,
and you play Mbeumo and Cunha on the wings.
Yeah, although I think Cunha's struggled a bit in certain games on the wing.
Yeah, and
because he's not a winger who plays wide and puts crosses in, really.
No, and he looked okay coming off the bench in the Arsenal game. So
yeah,
maybe he does benefit from being a bit more of a finisher. So maybe you play, but then you're playing Mbeumo on the left. It's not as natural to him as in playing on the right.
Yeah,
and this is what Carrick's got to figure out.
That's why he earns the big bucks.
It is, yeah. He's got to. We've got a lot of good forward players. It's not the worst problem to have.
Yeah,
he needs to figure it out, and hopefully he can get the balance right.
Yeah, I think it could be a bit of a scrap this game.
Yeah,
the one at home it wasn't the best game to watch. I'm hoping there's a bit more to it than that.
Yeah,
rather than just us not taking any initiative against 10 men.
Yeah,
and just sort of limping to 1-0 loss
game because
it was interesting. I suppose not for United.
Got sent off for hitting his own play.
Yeah. That was funny. I wasn't seeing the funny side of that. 8 minutes later.
Scored,
yeah. So I don't think there'll be that much quality in the game, and I think that'll be fine. We could go out there and blow them away and score 3 great goals, and then we've not played into their hands. But I don't think we will do that. I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah,
where hopefully our quality will tell and we'll end up winning the game. But I don't think it'll be comfortable.
Yeah, I fancy Casemiro to score. He's overdue on.
Is he?
Well, yeah. I mean, he
scored against Fulham,
but he should have scored against West Ham and he was robbed. So I think he should get back to his goal scoring ways. And he's on his farewell tour. He's doing one last dance, so he needs to. We
could do the late winner or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take an early winner.
Yeah, but Casemiro would be a great moment for him to score a late winner in a game.
Yeah, it'd be great if he scored against Liverpool. That would, because of the Carragher connection as well. I think.
Yeah,
If
Carragher has recently apologised and said the football clearly hasn't left him.
Yeah, but I think score against Liverpool. They finish 6th. We finish. I won't say first. Above Liverpool,
Yeah.
and then Casemiro wins the World Cup, and Carrick has to eat humble pie.
Yes, that'd be funny.
That would be funny. And
He'd probably then spit it out.
Yeah, in a child's face.
Although that's the thing that always gets spoken at. He spat at a grown man, and it happened to catch the grown man's child on the way past.
Yes.
He was not spitting deliberately at a child.
No. The spitting on a child accidentally is quite bad. Spitting on a child whilst deliberately trying to spit on someone else is worse.
Pretty bad, yeah. But neither is as bad as deliberately spitting on a child. He didn't spit at a 12-year-old girl, which is what people say. I just think the truth is important sometimes.
Yes, I'm sure Carrick, due to certain regional factors, spits on people's faces back all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can't punish him for that.
No, I don't think that was the case.
Well, you did have to shout because they were going down the motorway.
Yeah. And the guy who was filming, who was the target of Carrick, he didn't come across very well as well. Made sure to say at the end of the video, wow, Jamie Carragher just spat at my daughter whilst filming his daughter whilst he's driving.
Yeah.
Like,
so you think he deserves to get spat at?
No, I just don't think he's the innocent victim in all of this.
No. It's weird that happened. Is that funnier than the phone call of Gary Neville when someone
claims to have got Gary Neville's number off Tony Adams' son?
Yeah. I really like that phone. It's really funny.
I'm just being told now that it's Tony Adams' son. Tony Adams' son? Who's Tony Adams? Who used to play for Arsenal? Shut up, you fucking dick. Give your number to the police, John.
It's good fun.
It's great.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm enjoying Casemiro this season.
Yeah.
I will miss him when he's gone.
Yeah. Is there any hope in your heart that he'll score a few goals, get us in the Champions League, and one more year?
There is. I think if there was a reasonable chance of that happening, they wouldn't have announced it.
Yeah.
They would have waited until they knew. I think he must have.
But Ibrahimovic, I feel like we announced him leaving and then ended up signing him on another year.
Is that true?
Maybe.
As well.
I don't know. But it certainly didn't look likely that we were going to give him another year, and then we did.
Do you remember the Ibrahimovic signing?
Well,
when he announced it
on Instagram. Yeah, it's time to tell the world my new club.
That was great. I was on holiday. Were we both on holiday?
I can't remember.
I think I was on holiday without.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember refreshing to see who it was, and it was United. Because everyone loved Ibrahimovic.
Yeah.
And then it meant that we could carry on loving Ibrahimovic, and everyone else had to stop liking him.
Yeah. And he was. I think people do wear rose-tinted spectacles thinking about Ibrahimovic's time at United, because there were a lot of games where he was really frustrating and slow and missed a load of chances. But he did score a lot of goals, and he was a great, fun player to have at that time when we got Mourinho in. And there were a lot of crap games that season, but it was still an exciting time. And Pogba and Ibrahimovic coming in together. Yeah. We won 2 trophies that season.
And Pogba should have had about 35 assists.
Yeah.
But Ibrahimovic kept blasting him over the bar.
Yeah. And opposition keepers kept having great games at Old Trafford.
Ibrahimovic, the sort of player that you're very glad you got to see play for your club.
Yeah, definitely. And then we won't talk about the second season when we did give him another year.
He broke his leg, did he?
No, he broke his leg, or he damaged his knee or something towards the end of the first season.
Yes.
And then he was recovering quite well, so we gave him another year. Took him ages to actually get fit to play, and he played about 4 games and then went to America. Yes. So that was not a good decision.
No. That was
he scored a free kick against Bristol City in the League Cup. That was such a terrible goal. I don't know how it goes in. It's one of the worst free kick goals I've ever seen.
Nice. One from the Edward Wood School of Contract Extensions. Which is the default is give them an extension, and you absolutely can't.
Yeah. That's Marcus Rojo's played 3 games in the last 2 years and scored an own goal in one of them. Why not? Well, we don't want to lose his resale value. We can't let him go on a free. Another 4 years should do it.
Insane.
Yeah.
A pay rise as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, obviously.
We've moved on from that.
Yeah, I hope so. Like to think we have.
They seem to be sticking to this 2-year thing where if you've not proven that you aren't dreadful within 2 years, then they'll move you on.
Is there anyone in danger of that this summer?
Yeah, Garter.
Agata, yeah. Well, he's proven that he is dreadful.
Yeah.
if we didn't have a 2-year rule, I think he should go.
Yeah. But I think his goose is well and truly cooked, I think.
Yeah. Dolby's got a while left, and I think he's fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah. He wasn't very happy. Did you see him and Cobby did a video where they unveiled their FIFA cards.
Alright.
So Dorgu was a bronze in the last game, and now he's a silver, but he thinks he should be better. And the real tragedy is Cobby Mainoo, who should be much better than he is, but because for like the 6 months preceding FIFA coming out, he didn't play any football.
Yeah.
He basically there's quite an air of frustration from him in there, which is, I think, it sort of crystallized in his head, which I'm sure he's aware of. I'm sure people say how much of a waste the last 6 months were.
Yeah.
And how frustrating he must have been. He sort of dawns on him. He's like, "Oh, this is just the same as last year."
Yeah.
Done anything.
It's not my fault. Yeah, Gary Lineker suggested he should sue Ruben Amorim, which was a joke. I don't think he would have any legal grounds there. I think the manager in his contract says he's allowed to play who he wants.
Yeah.
But he has thrown away a year of Cobby Mainoo's career.
Yeah. I think he'll be
He'll
alright.
recover. He might get back in the World Cup squad now.
Yeah,
It's quite an achievement.
Obviously, I want England to win the World Cup. I think that's obvious. It's not that obvious in my head. I'm sort of making myself say it.
No, yeah, you would.
Yeah, I would like,
and you will when the World Cup comes along. You will want to win it.
But so much of that is because of the United players playing for England.
Yeah.
Like the last tournament, Luke Shaw scored in the Euros final for England. And I love Luke Shaw because he plays for United.
Yeah, like Harry Maguire scored a penalty in the Euros final.
Yeah, that's what I want. And if we go to the World Cup and we win it, there'll always be a little bit of me that's like, but there weren't any United players there.
Yeah, well, Maguire might get back in. Shaw might get back in.
Rashford might go.
Rashford will go.
Yeah. But yeah, and he still
he is
the United player.
I mean, it's possible that Barcelona will have signed him permanently
before
the World Cup. Does he still count as United?
Yeah, he still counts. From Withenshaw, he'll always be a United player.
Yeah.
And if Cobby went, then I would be that would make it.
Yeah.
If maybe Lingard will get back in, he's always been.
Is he a free agent currently?
He left
FC Seoul.
Left his South Korean club. I think he's back in the UK.
It's
weird. A weird career.
Yeah, very strange career.
To just sort of, I mean, surely he could have played. Surely he could get a contract in England.
Yeah, I think I don't know what he's after. It was a weird move for him to go to a career. Yeah. I don't know what he's looking
want to
for.
Play Championship football and thinks he's better than Championship football, but wasn't able to. Because there's the commercial aspect of him. A lot of players, as they decline technically, can prop up the level at which they play with commercial.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Juan Mata is, when he went to Japan, he probably wasn't good enough. Oh no, he was good. He was a big enough name to play for a Japanese side.
Yeah.
Because even though he was ridiculously slow,
that
being a big name bridged that gap between how good he was and how good he needed to be. I think Lingard probably got his one go at that.
Yeah.
So, and then they found out he was even worse than they thought.
Yeah. I mean, obviously for his football career, he obviously should have signed for West Ham after that 6-month period where he was unplayable. And he was planning to go. He did an interview where he was very vague. He was planning to go to West Ham, but then just ended up going to Forest. It's like, well, clearly they offered him more money.
Yeah.
And that's the decision he made, and that's fair enough. But in terms of footballing ability, he should have stayed where he was playing really well.
Yeah,
and then he lasted about a year at Forest, and then went to South Korea. So I don't know if he regrets it. He probably doesn't when he looks at his bank account, because I'm sure he got paid quite well in Korea.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw any of the Newcastle Villa game.
No, I saw Rooney saying they contained the worst decision of all time.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure which decision that was about. I think it's about Matty Cash handballing it in the box and the referee giving a free kick, even though Matty Cash at no point was outside the box. His entire body was inside the box the whole time.
Nice.
And that was a terrible decision. That he spotted the handball and gave it outside the box. That's just baffling. And the VAR would have overturned it so quickly. Yeah. I think that's what it's about, because Matty Cash also could have been sent off. Nice. But that was like a yeah, looking back, it probably was a red card. Also, Tammy Abraham was probably offside for Aston Villa's goal. It was a bit. I don't think there's any conspiracy going on here, but it was like the game was designed to make people want VAR again because every weekend, every time there's an FA Cup weekend, until whichever round VAR comes in, people always say, "Oh, it's so refreshing to watch football without VAR again," and celebrate goals without worrying that they're going to be chalked off. But that game definitely pointed out the benefits of VAR. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Newcastle ended up scoring from the free kick that was given,
nice.
but it's not really the point, you know.
No, I think because we're sort of back and forth on VAR, I think we're both quite anti-VAR at the moment.
Yeah, I think everyone is, to be honest.
Yeah. But obviously when people think back, because like you say, the frustrations with the VAR and the frustrations pre-VAR aren't about the same decisions.
Yeah.
So like that Matty Cash one, if it's as obvious as you say, that isn't a frustrating VAR decision.
No, that would be
5 seconds.
VAR got that one right, you know. Credit to the VAR.
Yeah, I would go, oh, that was in the box. Okay, penalty.
Yeah, and you'd be like, that's good. I'm glad we've got VAR.
But I don't think you would even think about it. I think you would. The default is that you don't notice it when it's fine and when it works, you don't notice it. But then, so when VAR becomes frustrating, it's about the decisions that pre-VAR weren't even on the radar. It wasn't. They wouldn't happen, and you would move on from.
Yeah.
I think so. The argument is in different places. When people say we should get rid of VAR, they're not like, oh, it shouldn't matter that we have these massively incorrect decisions.
No.
And then when people are saying we need VAR, they're not saying I want every offside to be done to the millimetre. They think, but that Newcastle should have had a penalty, and it couldn't have mattered, and it should.
Yeah.
You know, the two sides. There isn't a happy medium where the line falls somewhere in the middle of those two decisions, I don't think, where it can get all of those ones right and never have the frustrating ones.
Yeah.
You just have to pick
can't only bring in
one or the other.
As they've proven, you can't just have it for clear and obvious errors.
No.
It doesn't work.
And I do think most people would now say, if you pick one, we should just have that.
The occasional blatantly wrong decision is worth it.
And the way to fix it is to train referees better, and you know, but you can't train all mistakes out of referees.
No, there'll always be some, because it's a human making a decision.
But you could enforce higher standards.
Yeah,
you might get somewhere. But the quick fix was the video referee.
Well, there's also the accusation that referees, and particularly linesmen, are less inclined to give the decision at all. Because they're used to having the safety net of VAR.
Yeah.
Like the offside one, the Tammy Abraham one, pre-VAR, the linesman may well have put his flag up. But because there's no VAR, he thinks, well, I'll leave it down, and then if it is VAR, I'll turn it around.
Yeah, but
I think linesmen are clever enough to remember whether or not VAR's there and correct their decisions because of that. I don't think they're
not an unconscious bias, it's just forgetting the rules.
Yeah. Like, I think linesmen, to their credit, you know, they will factor that in, and they won't, like, they'll just go back to how they were before VAR, or they referee games without VAR all the time, you know.
Yeah, so a lot of referees do championship games as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the hardest transition to make. And did you, any other interesting games?
Well, as I think tonight, Macclesfield are playing Brentford.
Yeah.
After their, amazing victory against Crystal Palace last time, I could very much see this one falling flat and Brentford just winning 2-0 or something.
That's what happened with Grimsby. Grimsby obviously beat us. Got another Premier League side in the FA Cup this time, and just lost 1-0 to Wolves. It was a crap game. Yeah,
I don't know if you saw the pitch for Grimsby against Wolves. It was ridiculous. It was like the Somme.
Yeah.
It was not fit for football, basically, but there were a couple that were called off. I think Port Vale, Bristol City was postponed because the pitch was waterlogged, but Grimsby against Wolves, so they went ahead with.
Yeah. I think I saw a Grimsby fan being like, well, if the Premier League agreed a financing package with them, then we might afford to lay some fresh turf.
Yeah. But I think the Wolves players enjoyed it, to be honest.
A bit of a throwback.
Yeah.
More than the United players enjoyed their trip to Grimsby.
Yes, the weather wasn't any better. Wrexham beat Ipswich. Wrexham are into the 5th round now. They've beaten they've beaten a Premier League side in Forest, and now beaten Ipswich as well.
Nice.
So they'll be hoping for a big Premier League glamour tie for the TV show.
It's an odd case, Wrexham. I think the proper football fan in me is like, oh, this Hollywood thing, it's a Disneyification of football.
Yeah.
But then, money is going to flow into football from everywhere. And you've got nation states and dodgy billionaires, who we might come back to in a minute, and despotic leaders and oligarchs owning clubs and pumping money and all the money in the world into these teams. Business owners who have gone bankrupt 5 times, and the money's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
If it comes from people who are making a TV show who are Hollywood stars, it's
They
not
do
the worst source of
and they genuinely seem to care about the club and want the best.
Yeah.
And they've made the team a lot better.
Yeah, they have. But I think the proper football fan
I don't
always
love it.
proper football fan in me will always win and will always be like,
bloody Hollywood
Yanks,
nonsense.
what you do.
Yeah. Get out of our game.
And it started a real trend of American investment banks just
Hiring American celebrities
to be in charge, to be the face of their
like
Tom Brady at Birmingham City, who owns like 1% of the club, and then 60% of the club is owned by this huge investment fund.
Yeah.
But Tom Brady fronted syndicate is owning.
Yeah, you got Michael B. Jordan at Bournemouth,
Snoop Dogg at Swansea.
Yeah, JJ Watt is at Burnley as well, and I think Dude Perfect are also investors in Burnley.
They are, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird concept. And who is that for? Who are they?
It's for
selling
Americans.
it? Yeah,
there's a certain group of Americans who will say, "Oh, Tom Brady's involved in the football club.
Birmingham.
I'll support them."
Yeah,
and you only need 1% of Americans is 3 million people. Like, that's quite a lot of people for Birmingham.
Yeah, so if a few of them come over every game and spend 100 quid in the club shop,
yeah, it's worth doing.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And they're not. There's a lot of American owners who haven't bothered doing that and just own the club, and they're slightly less marketable for it.
Yeah. Do we need to talk about
our own
Sir Jim?
Our own dodgy billionaire?
Yes.
I don't. Obviously, people go to him for comments, and he does interviews because people ask him.
Yeah, there are plenty of billionaires that you never hear from, but he's always been one who's done the occasional interview at the sailing or the cycling or stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm just, there's a reason why the Glazers don't do interviews, because they know that there's a big, United are a huge marketing enterprise, and anything you say will piss a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Any political opinion you hold, and we'll come back to the political opinion.
Yes,
I'm not saying that it's irrelevant, but any political opinion you hold will piss off a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you are the face of Man United. Don't piss off a lot.
Yeah.
Just
keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Like he said for context, if anyone's not been following the story, he said he feels like this country has been colonized by immigrants.
Yeah, which is such a deliberate choice of words.
Yes.
Like,
he said you can't have 9 million people on benefits and be letting all these immigrants in, and the population has gone from 58 million in 2020 to 70 million in 2024.
Yeah.
Which is
complete nonsense.
It was 58 million in like 2000 or something.
Yeah.
It's gone up 3 million in that time, not 12 million.
Yeah.
And then the club put out a statement saying the club is committed to diversity and inclusion and everyone's welcome at United.
Yeah.
Which sort of, I don't know whose decision that is.
I think it's probably from the CEO.
Yeah.
Or with the CEO's blessing.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of people in the club who don't agree with what he said.
Apparently there was vocalization from senior people being like, we have to say something.
Yeah. We
don't want him to think this is the company ethos.
Yeah. And then Jim Ratcliffe came out and said, I apologise that my choice of language has offended some people. Which is not an apology.
It's like, that is the textbook definition of the fake apology.
Yeah.
Sorry if it hurt your feelings.
Yeah. I think the only thing that he's slightly apologising for is the use of the word colonised.
Yeah.
But I don't think that was a poor choice of words. That was a deliberate I don't think he misspoke.
No.
He might regret saying that word now, but He's not apologised for the sentiment at all. He's doubled down on the sentiment,
Yeah.
and he's not mentioned the figures being nonsense that he was quoting.
Yeah.
We've defended Jim Ratcliffe as an owner a
Mhm.
couple of times from protesters and compared him to the Glazers quite favourably.
Yeah.
But
we're not defending.
We're not defending him as a man. No.
No.
And we've said before he's come out and said this. We've said we know he's a big Tory. We don't like the guy.
Yeah.
And we don't like billionaires. But he's the best, arguably the best option for a football club of our size. But I preferred it when he kept these opinions to himself.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, the Glazers donate money to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That is worse than doing an interview
where you express
a bad opinion about migration.
Yeah.
But people don't associate that with the Glazers. People have to go out of their way to find that out. And, and the Glazers do that very deliberately. They don't go around wearing MAGA hats. They don't go to, they weren't at the inauguration because they just, I'm not saying they're better business people.
No.
But I think they are more commercially aware, or they're just sort of more commercially sensitive. I think Jim Ratcliffe doesn't care that it brings United into disrepute.
Yeah.
I think he would rather stand behind his opinion and thinks that the world shouldn't mind that that's his opinion.
Yeah.
It's just wrong. Especially, because he's sort of from Manchester, but he's also, he's a citizen of Monaco.
Yeah.
He doesn't pay his income tax.
Yeah, we've not mentioned the hypocrisy of him complaining about how this country is run when he's moved away, so he doesn't pay any tax.
And there was a lot of the press around his bid for the club was that he was from Manchester and he was the local boy.
Yeah, he's a boyhood United fan.
But if you're from Manchester, is such a diverse city.
Like,
so much migration to Manchester.
Yeah,
there has been for hundreds of years. It's such a diverse city. It's a city that prides itself on that.
Yeah,
and it's just such a tone deaf thing to say.
Yeah, and we don't agree with it, with him thinking it.
No,
but even if you think it, as the person who is the face of the ownership of Manchester United, you should know that you can't express your opinions as much anymore.
Yeah,
I don't expect him to change his opinions. He's not going to do that. He's not going to suddenly not become left wing because he owns a club with a socialist history, and that are based in a diverse city. I don't expect that to happen, but at least have the grace to keep him to yourself.
Yeah, he just doesn't seem. I don't know. He seems to think he's more media aware than he is. Like that interview with Gary Neville he did.
Yeah,
just sort of basic questions were obviously the first question Gary Neville, the headline a week before was that we'd cut the money to the former players association.
Yeah,
the first question is obviously going to be, why have you cut the money to the former players association? And he goes, I'm not really involved in the decision making,
but we will look into it.
Well, why don't the players raise? The players could do a dinner or an auction and raise enough to make the difference. I've hadn't thought of
no one's
that to me. Why would obviously the media briefing around him should be good enough?
Yeah,
and say, actually, Jim, I know that that's your opinion. Don't go on. Don't do a piece with the Telegraph and say that you think migration is ruining Britain because, the CEO of Manchester United is a migrant to the UK.
Yeah,
all of the players are migrants to the UK. I know they're not the migrants he's talking about.
They're rich migrants.
Yeah, rich people are excluded.
And he's an immigrant in Monaco.
Yeah, but just 75,000 people go to Old Trafford. A larger number of those are migrants to the UK, and some of them will have moved to Manchester because they are Manchester United fans.
Yeah,
just as people move to England because England colonised their country and they speak English.
Yeah,
people will, and the soft power of the Premier League is such that Manchester United is a global brand, and people come to Manchester because of Manchester United. Don't degrade all of those people in the press in front of everyone.
You have to surely make some concessions about being a political figure when you own a football club.
I don't know if we've done too much of he should have thought better on and not said it, and also we need to do more of He shouldn't. He
shouldn't think that. Yeah, that's a terrible thing.
And obviously a dreadful thing to think. It's a city and a culture, Britain and Manchester in particular, is defined by migration and always has been and always will be, I think.
Yes, yeah, we're very much not on the same page as Jim in that one. And the Man United Muslim Supporters Club put out a very good statement about it.
Yeah.
I
don't know if you saw, they also put out a tweet about there's a new prayer room for
Old Trafford
Muslim Supporters Club.
Oh yeah.
Where I say prayer room, it's a shipping container, but one of the reasons why we should build a new stadium so we can improve facilities things. But obviously the prayer mats have to face east towards Mecca.
Yeah.
But the way the shipping container is lined up means that there's a load of empty space around the edge because it doesn't tessellate properly. And if you just rotated the shipping container like 15 degrees, you'll be able to fit loads more prayer mats in because just have the shipping container facing east.
Yeah, they're famously portable.
Yeah. One of the benefits of having a shipping container is surely you could face it directly in the direction you want.
Yeah.
It just made me laugh. It was a really funny image.
Yeah, it doesn't take a genius. This shipping container, it's really in the wrong place for this.
It's just nothing we can do.
But yeah, Jim Ratcliffe,
boo,
big time. Yeah. Have we got time for a little quiz before we wrap up?
Yeah, I saw a piece. It was quite well. I said I saw a piece. That's cheating. I came up with this thought and then found a piece about it.
Okay.
So I'm going to give myself the credit because I was thinking, there's a game that they play in the NFL in press conferences where they have because obviously NFL much higher scoring game.
Yeah.
There's a big grid of all the scores that have ever happened and all the scores that have never happened.
Yeah.
And when the first time a score happens, which happens with much greater frequency in the NFL.
Yeah, there's a lot more scores that are likely to happen.
And you can, because of the combination of the way you get points, you can basically get any number between 1 and 100.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more scores that can happen. I wonder what scores haven't happened in football. So I found this article in the Guardian. It's a couple of years old, but I don't think there's any that have happened since. So disappointingly, every scoreline up until every 13 goal scoreline has happened.
Right.
In professional men's football.
Okay.
And international. The article does apologise that it doesn't include women's football, but there just aren't good data sources for historic women's football. So there aren't any cool scorelines that haven't happened under.
Right, there's no like niche, like
just
what a quirk that happened.
All of the first of the 13 goal scorelines have happened. Can you think of any of the 13 goal scorelines?
What's most likely 9-4 maybe 8-5? No, basically.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Like I'm aware of the highest scoring games in the Premier League. There's been a few 10 goal scorer lines and one 11 goal score line, but there was an 8-4. Was it Borussia Dortmund against? Oh, that's 12 goals.
Yeah, that's on my
Borussia
list.
Dortmund against Legia Warsaw was 8-4.
Yes, that was 8-4. So if we go to the 12 goal, so yeah, that's the only 8-4 that they've had.
All right.
There's been an 8-5 in it was quite a recent game. It was September 1890, Derby Blackburn 8-5.
What a game!
Yeah. There was let me find what's the most recent new scoreline. 2021. There was Japan Mongolia World Cup qualifier. I guess the score from
that. 10-3.
No, that was 14-0.
Oh, right.
The first of our 14 goal scorelines. There are of the 14 goal scorelines, there are 5 that haven't happened yet.
Oh, right. Okay.
All right. So the last brand new scoreline in England's top 4 divisions. How long ago do you think that
was? 15 years.
No, it was Boxing Day 1962. Is that the Boxing?
No, that was Boxing Day 1963. Was the Boxing? I would have thought there were a couple of scores in there that had never happened.
Possibly. But the last brand new scoreline was Southport against Oldham.
Oh, was that in Division 1?
In the Division 1, possibly.
Oh, no, it was in the top 4 divisions.
Yeah, top 4 divisions. And that was 11-0.
Oh, right. I wonder what the lowest score line that's never happened in a United game is.
Yeah,
Because we've won. I reckon. I don't know. I think this might take too long
yeah,
for the podcast, but I reckon we could name a United game for most score lines.
yeah. I think maybe what's the longest time we have without a game? Because we can.
Yeah, there must be a FA Cup weekend plus international break. I think there is at the end of March.
So,
But I'm going away for a few days.
I have found a website, Newton Heath and Manchester United results by score, full scoreline history.
So there's every
every
result
United
for each
scoreline.
score.
So I
Or is it the first time every scoreline happened?
I think it's every scoreline possible.
Wow.
Yeah, so I can find the 2 games where United have scored 10.
We beat Anderlecht 10-0.
Yes, at Main Road. Actually.
Was that in like 1950 or something?
1956.
Okay.
And we also beat Wolverhampton Wanderers 10-1 in 1892.
Right.
So let's find. So we've got 4 where United scored 9.
Yeah,
You name the most recent 2.
Well, we beat Southampton 9-0
Yeah.
in lockdown. We beat Ipswich 9-1, did we? In the 90s?
We beat Ipswich 9-0.
Okay. Did we beat someone 9-1 in the 90s?
No. The 4 games we scored 9 are Southampton 9-0, Ipswich 9-0, Darwin 9-0.
No, it's in Lancashire.
And Walsall 9-0 in 1895.
Wow.
A few more where we scored 8, but again, not very many recently.
There's the 8-2 against
8-2,
Arsenal.
Yeah.
Is that the most recent one?
In 99 we won 8. We scored 8. Not in the. Oh yeah, in the 99. Yeah.
I don't know that one.
Forest.
Oh right. Oh yeah, of course. When Solskjaer scored 4 off the bench.
Yes.
8-1.
You should have got that.
I should.
Let's see. There should be some more recent ones here. Okay, yeah. They're games in which we've scored 7. There have been 4 since 2000.
Okay, so we beat Roma 7-1 in
Correct.
2008.
Correct. 2007.
There's
There's 2 more recent than that.
Was one of them under Oli?
No.
Okay, but it was around that time that you had to think about it.
I had to think about it enough, yeah.
But I don't think it was under Mourinho.
It was under Eric Ten Hag.
Yeah.
It wasn't in the league.
No, must have been in the. Yes, Barnsley in the League
Correct.
Cup. We won 7-0.
Yeah.
That was fun.
There was a league game in between under Sir Alex. Again, some maybe remembered by a certain player scoring a lot of goals.
A certain player scoring a lot of goals. Berbatov scored 5.
Yeah.
And we beat Blackburn 7-1.
Correct. And
2010 was it?
Yeah. I don't think you'll get the other one. You were. It was about a month before you were born.
I don't know. So that would have been. I know that's the year. So 99-2000 season.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We beat West Ham 7-1.
Yeah. Okay.
There you are. When you get to 6 goals, you there's way too many.
Open up the floodgates. Yeah.
I mean, a much less fun game to play is by opposition score.
Mm.
Do you want to the 16 games where we've conceded 7 goals?
We've conceded 7 goals in 16 games.
Yeah, I don't know why I've got on this.
Yeah, the most recent one is not
one that was after 1961. The other are all pre-61.
That is so depressing.
Yeah, we shouldn't.
We ended a 60-year run.
Yeah,
without conceded 7.
Conceded 6 is probably less recent.
No,
that was the
more recent than the 7-0.
Oh,
or around the same.
The same time.
So under Ten Hag.
I think it was under Ten Hag. It might be. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yes, City away 6-3.
Yeah, and then also, there was an Ollie game where we scored after 2 minutes and then lost.
Yeah, Spurs. Yeah, Fernandes scored a penalty.
This is a rubbish list. I don't know why we're on this.
Yeah, not fun that. And then we conceded. Oh no, that was 4. When was the last time we conceded 5?
Let's have a look. It was as I've described, the worst day of my life.
The worst day of your life. Oh, no.
Because
worst day of your life.
Nothing else bad happened.
Well, I was thinking it might be. I was getting mixed up with our last league game in 2011-12, which we actually won, but it was the worst day of your life because City won the league.
Yeah, this is worse because of
the last game of the season, the year after, was 5-5 against West Brom. So I got mixed up between those two. Okay. So it was more recent than the 5-5 against West Brom. The worst day of your life because of where you were. Were you on holiday?
No, where I was is Old Trafford.
Oh, yeah, we lost 5-0 against Liverpool, yeah.
And then the one before that was a 5-3 loss at Leicester City.
Oh, yeah, that's a bad one.
It's an interesting resource. Come back to Newton Heath and Manchester United results by score, full scoreline history in the future.
Yeah.
Pick some fun scorelines.
Yeah. They're more fun than those last few.
Yeah.
Bleak. Well, anyway. So, yeah, that's probably it from us. Thanks again for listening. We won't be back next Monday because United are playing. So, will we be recording next Tuesday, probably?
Yeah.
I think I'm around.
Yeah, me too.
So, make sure you're following us on the old social media.
Yeah. Thanks for the comments again.
Yes.
We did I didn't read the comment out. There was a comment that said from someone called Kieran saying, should Šeško start? But we did sort of discuss that.
Yes, yeah. We think you should. Thanks, Kieran. Keep your comments coming in. Any more to add today?
No, I'm all good.
All right, well, keep it locked to Red Army Reaction.
Nice.
And we'll see you out there.